It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theater, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And also we have the Murman.
Yo.
How's the Murman?
Tired.
Yeah? Sick and tired, or just tired?
Just tired. It was a rough weekend.
He's tired of waking up tired.
Did you make it to the expo thingamabobber?
Yeah, but I didn't make it to the clown.
You didn't make it to the clown in a cornfield?
No,
There's no
I was on 3 hours sleep on Sunday.
Well, that's good.
I wasn't really functioning. So.
You can watch it. You can watch it with me and Jim when the time comes.
Sure.
Join the club.
It's gonna be so much fun, Merman.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As are we.
Yeah.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Okay, well, thanks to all been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, or even just like a little bit, why don't you rate it? Give us a 5 on your listening platform, or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/filmrageyyc. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film, and we'll watch it if it played anywhere in a cinema in the world. Now, let's get to raging. What amazing mom
Predict.
What amazing mom
Predict.
Will he predict the rage or will he predict the mondo? Will he tell you all what Jim and Bryce saw at the movies? Here he comes now. Better watch out, kids. Cause Merman is swimming to you. Swim, Murray, swim, Murray.
Swim, Murray, swim.
Swim, Murray, swim, Murray.
Swim, Murray, swim.
Swim all the way to our hearts, our little hearts.
Another week, another crap ton of movies.
Yes, so much crap.
And that's in addition to Cuff.
Yes, the back half of Cuff.
Yeah, you guys just came from one. And
We did.
As I said to Jim, if you guys had picked any other movie on this list to go see tonight, I would have gone with you, except this one.
Scheduling, my friend.
The Accountant 2.
Yes.
Although if you look at when it comes up, it's the accountant squared, which makes no sense. So that's
Cares.
the
To the
accountant
power
times
of-
the accountant.
Who cares?
Equals,
what does that equal?
Equals accountant.
I don't know that it does.
Whatever.
Equals accountancy.
Anyway.
I don't get
I
that.
think it's
and then
a
at
power.
but then at the end when the credits are done, it actually says accountant 2, not accountant squared. So I'm very confused by all that. It's one of a few things I have that's a little frustrating. But you can take your prediction.
Yeah.
I don't even know where all that went.
I don't know. I lost it a long time ago.
But it did have Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Affleck. Yeah, according to Bryce, the greatest actor of our generation.
No, the greatest actor of mine or anybody else's generation.
There you go.
Right.
According to Bryce.
Yeah, of their generation.
And Bryce only.
Yes.
I don't
and
know that
Bryce
that's
only.
true.
I'm sure
pretty
that's
sure
true.
that's pretty
I'm
true.
pretty sure that's
Anyway,
not true.
it's a sequel. And
It is a sequel.
It's an action movie.
It is both
Yes.
of those things.
Even with John Barenthal.
Yes. Formerly undoubted John Barron.
Yes.
I think he's pretty good. I don't see you guys getting this to a Mondo just because of that, even as much as Mr. Bryce loves his Ben Affleck.
I do love my Ben Affleck.
And I do not.
Double man.
Double meh.
All right.
Until Dawn, which I would have gone to, except you guys went to it the exact same time I was meeting Michael J. Fox. So
No.
screw you guys.
He's more important than us for sure.
It's a horror movie.
Who's Michael J. Fox?
He's an actor.
It's Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, he's Teen Wolf, right?
Teen Wolf.
That's
He was
right.
Teen Wolf.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, why don't you?
He
why
was
don't
in
you
the
name,
Frighteners.
Why
He
don't you
was in
name
the
a movie that
Frighteners.
people have seen, like Secret of My Success?
That's right. Secret of My Success.
You know what the secret of my success is?
Money.
That I live 25 hours a day.
Wow.
That was the theme song.
I'm surprised you know
It was by
that.
Night Ranger.
I'm surprised you know that.
We're never
Also
gonna get
starring
through this
Helen
podcast.
Slater.
We're never going to get through this podcast.
Yeah. Till Dawn. It's a horror movie, which again I would have gone to see, but I was busy. I don't know. I saw the trailer, had some promise, but even with what's his name, Stormare in it.
Yes.
and
we love us some Storm
and a
app.
bunch of basic nobodies
There's a few nobodies.
getting killed over and over and over again, much like the
it's
Happy
kinda
Death
thing.
Day.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Let's just say double rage.
Double Rage. Interesting.
Legend of Ochi, which I literally saw the trailer for 10,000 times this weekend.
Oh, good.
Because before every panel, they would play the same 5 trailers, and that was one of them.
Legend of Ochi.
Jim loves his sci-fi, fantasy. Also likes Mr. What's his name?
Willem Dafoe.
I was gonna say Macy, but yeah, the other guy.
Willem Macy.
Willem Macy, yeah. I don't know about Bryce, so let's go Mondo for Jim and meh for Bryce.
Yeah, for Bryce on Legend of Ochi.
On Swift Horses, which apparently does feature some horse racing.
There is.
There is some horse
Bryce
racing.
is also fond of.
Yes, he's very fond of them.
And it seems like everybody is having sex with everybody else.
Pretty much.
They just keep swapping partners.
There's a lot of sex.
There's a
men,
lot of
women,
sex.
men, women. I don't know. I couldn't keep straight.
Everybody's
Everybody's in everybody
everybody.
else's bed, my friend.
But it's still
the way
it's still
God
bordering on a
intended.
still bordering on a rom-com. So let's go double meh for that.
All right.
And finally, probably the easiest pick of the week,
Really?
The Shrouds.
I mean, that should be...
by Mr. Cronenberg.
Yeah, there should be...
Who you guys cannot stop gushing about.
Yes, we do.
Every time his name comes
We have
up.
a sustained Cronenboner for
That's
sure.
Right.
They don't call us kids of the
So,
Cronenboner.
I may be
for
wrong,
nothing.
but yeah, double Mondo.
Mondo. All right.
It's like your kind of weird ass movie.
That was a pretty damn good... That Murray had his what's
There was
that?
there was
Huff and Pufflepuff
there
hat
was,
on this week.
There was some logic to what he was spewing this
well,
week.
I had a full day off to recover, so
Nice.
I'm more awake now.
All right, well, let's talk about Le Accountant de...
Or the accountant squared. It
Or
starts as the accountant squared, and then at the end of the
ends
movie,
with
it's
duh.
the accountant.
It ends with duh.
They don't use
the
squared in
accountant.
accounting.
Duh.
Accountants don't use squared.
Okay, so I don't even know where to start with this. I mean, I guess
Just start
to
somewhere.
start, I watched the first one just before watching this new one to get caught up and to find out, where we were at and remember if I really did in fact like this movie, because
I did the same thing, Jim.
that's usually a rarity with me and Ben Affleck, because if he's in a movie, he's usually horrible and the movie's usually also horrible.
Now you're just talking silliness, but okay.
And in this one, Ben Affleck's cadence is completely different than the first movie. So I was like, okay, I don't know what that's about.
Same
but
character even?
Same character, but he was different.
But he's talking different.
Talking different and talking a lot. And his character is completely somewhat changed. So there's that. Then...
Yes.
How about the Punisher?
The Punisher. Yeah, that's a whole other story. How the film actually comes together, how the brothers get back together, how the feds are involved, how the convenience of everything. And I'm not sure if this was trying to be Rain Man meets Bad Boys, or if it was Taken 4 meets the X-Men. And don't get me started on the whole Roadhouse theme that goes through this movie as well.
Love me some Roadhouse.
The first one was so clever and all made sense. And this, every single thing, and I mean every single thing, Marie, that you have, has you question both time and space, as well as what universe does this film even take place in. I remember a time when John Barenthal was undoubted. If he was in a film, it would be a Mondo.
He made some very good choices.
Pretty good choices.
Yep.
However, if he continues with this series, he could possibly be the first person to make it on both our doubted and undoubted list on Film Rage. This film was ridiculously horrible. And when I say ridiculously horrible, I mean not funny, laugh out loud, ridiculously horrible. I mean, it's hard to believe that the writer-director of the first one was even involved in this one, because it is completely horrible, and it could make my top 5 worst films of this year. That's all I want to say.
Alrighty. The Accountant Squared.
Duh.
Part 2.
It's a mess. Nothing makes sense. Everything is so convoluted in it that you're like, what?
Yeah.
And it's as if they wrote a bunch of scenes and said, okay, how are we going to connect these? And then came up with some ways that sort of connected them, but not really. We've got kind of a few different stories going on that end up tying together in the end, and you're just kind of scratching your head the whole way. The comedy just completely misfires.
On every level.
And you look at the first movie, which was such a good movie and so well written. And then the second movie, they decided they were going to do a kind of a buddy comedy for half of it. And then the second part is going to be just, I guess it's an action movie, but there wasn't that much action.
No.
And that last gunfight is one of the most poorly choreographed gunfights that I've ever seen in my life.
It's horrible.
It was a complete mess. I hated this movie. Like,
it was so horrible.
This was so horrible. There was nothing going on here that was good at all. And how did the writer and director of The Accountant come back 9 years later, I guess it is, and just make this abomination? Like, this is just a spitting in the face of the original. Yeah. As you say, the characters aren't even the same. The brothers aren't the same. Neither of them are the same coming back. Yeah. They've just decided that they were writing a buddy comedy, and that's how this is going to be here.
Then they forgot to put the comedy in.
Then they forgot to put the comedy in. And all the connections they make that are just like unbelievable, and you're kind of scratching your head like, why are they inviting these hookers into this room? And why is this guy coming in? And how do they know he's connected to anything? Oh, of course, they've got a bunch of autistic kids in a room on computers, and they can find out anything, apparently. It's such a ridiculous movie. You know what made the first movie good? Even though it was far-fetched, you could go, you know what? Maybe that could happen.
Well, yeah, and also
then the new one, this could not happen.
Nothing in this film.
That's
what I'm saying is every step along the way, it's like, okay, that doesn't make sense. And you just keep saying that through the whole movie. It doesn't even make sense.
It was so dumb. I was just sitting there just
it makes no sense that Ben Affleck's character is going to be like, all of a sudden, you know what I haven't called my brother in 8-9 years. I should probably call him to help me with this project, which makes no sense. And then him going, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then he does that. And then
Ben Affleck's character going in, getting into a barroom fight, beating up everybody, apparently has to rush out.
Yeah.
And yet he gets the phone number of the
girl.
When did he stop to do that?
You know what?
Like, everything was just so stupid, and it was all played for, this is going to be funny, but none of it was.
It's because it's the Bad Boys syndrome. It really felt like Bad Boys.
This was autistic Bad Boys.
Yeah, it was.
It really was, and it was a rage. This was such a bad movie.
But it was, as I said,
made me so happy.
It was Rain Man meets Bad Boys.
Yeah, kinda.
That's what it was.
Kinda. Awesome. So yeah, it was awful. By the way, I still love Ben Affleck.
Of course you do, but he'll never be.
He was horrible.
He'll never be undone.
Well, no, but you couldn't do anything with this movie. It didn't matter who was in.
Doesn't
you
matter.
could put anybody in these roles.
You know what he could have done? He could have read the script and thrown it in the trash.
Yeah, that's what he
should have done.
He should have said, you know what, guys, you got to go back and write something better if you want me to come back as the accountant, because this is not good.
This is poopy. Wait, okay, so the accountant was number 2.
It was number 2.
Totes.
Yeah.
Totes.
Rage.
Okay, so from that, we go to a cabin in the woods.
Sorta.
Yeah.
Was there a cabin?
Well,
I know there was woods.
It's more like a visitor center in the woods.
Oh.
So, to be honest, I was thinking this was going to be another PG-13 Cabin in the Woods film.
It wasn't?
No.
Wow.
That I probably maybe would not even like. I was pleasantly surprised that it was not. We knew this about 20 minutes into this, that it was not a PG-13 movie. Maybe not even 20, maybe somewhere between 10 and 15. When we get a stab in the eye, when it's withdrawn, the eyeball comes right out with it. I'm just like, okay, this is definitely not PG-13. This is delicious.
That was not in the trailer.
No, it was not in the trailer. I mean,
This is a red band that I missed.
we did get some of what you might expect from that genre of films. And when I say that genre, I mean Cabins in the Woods.
Slasher movie.
The premise is that we have these teenagers looking for one of their party's missing sister, and they end up in a Groundhog Day / Happy Death Day type thing. The story is pretty throwaway once you know the whole story. I mean, how it ends and when they get to the boss level, how the story happens. To be honest, I wasn't really caring because it kind of made little sense, or at least it really didn't matter. Like, it wasn't really... It's a video game, so, you know, we're just trying to get to the end to beat the boss level. But getting the mesmerizing Peter Stormare as our villain was great. A man that... the kills in this were so much fun, including many, and when I say many, I mean many exploding bodies. There has to be like 20 exploding bodies in this.
Yeah.
It had a little bit of the Cabin in the Woods feel, and the jump scares were plentiful, and the music really drove the suspense throughout the entire film. And although by like 3/5 in, I kind of just wanted it to be shorter, the back 1/5 of this kicked it into gear and left me feeling completely satisfied and satiated. I really like this. It was a high meh for me. There's not very often that you get a PG-13 premise about a video game that delivers the level of fun that these kills had. I really enjoyed it. It was meh.
I'm going to do some kind of extrapolating here to what I think that they wanted to make with Until Dawn.
Yeah.
And what I think they wanted to make is every time that stupid little hourglass flipped over,
Yes.
I think they wanted to do almost a different genre of horror film every time
maybe.
it flipped over.
Yeah.
Because that's where it started.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of went off the rails from that. And I think if they would have kept on doing it, and I know we get that kind of montage of the fun kind of found footage thing,
which was done well, actually.
which was done well, and you can forgive it more than I can, because that just made me want them to do what I thought it was going to do. And what I thought it was going to do is I thought we were going to have a slasher, then we're going to have that, weird exploding
kind of like
people.
Cabin in the Woods.
And and then the next time the thing would flip around, we might have, witchcraft. Then we had the weird alien worm thing or whatever. Yeah. And if they would have done like 10 minutes of each of those and just absolutely just hit you in the face with it for 10 minutes of each, and you'd almost have, honestly, it would have been such a better movie if we had almost like 10 short films of different genres of horror.
By the time you get...
I totally disagree, because it didn't make sense, because it started doing one thing and then it made no sense. And yes, it does redeem itself with some cool special effects and some exploding bodies.
Yeah.
And while I did want one thing and it gave me another, when they did get to kind of looking back at they had the phone. Yeah. Was it a phone, I guess?
One
walking around device.
Yep.
So yeah, one of them walking around phone deals. I don't know if you guys know what these are, but
I've heard of them.
Apparently you can watch like videos and stuff on them, and apparently
Yeah.
they taped video.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't tape it. I don't know what you call it.
They recorded
videos on these walking around devices.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so apparently they did that, and then they did this whole montage, and you kind of went through a bunch of different things. But I honestly wish that some of that would have been extended, and some of the other stuff they could have cut out completely. I don't like the way that this... You kind of didn't mind the pace. I didn't like the pace of this. But there was some cool kills.
There was a lot of great kills.
It was way better than I thought it was going to be.
It was.
Peter Stormare was fantastic.
As always.
It was meh. But it wasn't a high meh. It was very meh.
Okay, well... I'm giving it a high. I mean, when it goes on our website, it's the same rating. But
That's true.
But I think I did enjoy it more than you, mostly because I appreciated that they went, because by the time they got to that point where you were like, okay, let's do another 10 of these fucking things, I was like, I'm done with that. They need to put a change up in the story.
No,
and then they did.
A change up in the story would be going with a different story every 10 minutes. It would have been cool.
They started to develop the actual story.
I guarantee that's what they intended to do originally.
And then they realized it was not a good idea.
Then they just frickin' got lazy.
And then they exploded some bodies. And then I was like, yes!
But then they exploded some bodies. And it's like, okay, well, you got me again.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to Rage Town, but apparently next stop is Melville.
I didn't realize it was actually going to be an R-rated movie. Otherwise, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Have
Yes,
given
it was very R-rated.
Yeah, I figured bunch of
We had
freaking
some
millennial
kitties in this
YouTube social media influencers in a PG horror movie.
Some very responsible parents brought their 6-year-olds to it.
Yeah, I turned to Bryce in the middle of the movie because the eye scene, where he stabs him in the eye and pulls it out, and I turned to Bryce and go, "How do you think the little 6-year-old is?"
6-year-olds love that stuff.
6-year-olds dig eye stabs.
The parents probably threw up.
This is like,
man.
people who bring your 6-year-old to rated R horror movies, please get yourself checked.
Yeah,
That's all I want to say.
I was sneaking into R-rated movies when I was like 11. But
Well,
that's different.
they were not.
It was
11.
a different time.
yeah, they were not 11. They were 6 if they were.
But the R-rated movies were about sex. They weren't about violence.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
It was a different time.
I saw The Exorcist at 10, and it traumatized me
There you
for
go.
life.
Still does, probably.
Still does, yeah.
There you go.
All right, so the legend.
Hang on.
Oh, there we go.
Double meh.
Nice.
Oh, man.
All right. So let me make sure we're all on the same page this time, which wasn't like last week, but I think this is where things are going to change.
Yeah.
All right, the legend of Ochi.
Yeah.
What is an Ochi, you may ask?
A little tiny dragon thing. I don't know.
It's kind of like a cross between Gizmo
Yeah.
with Grogu
Yeah.
and an orangutan.
It is a Gizmo Grogu orangutan,
That's
isn't
exactly.
it?
I nailed it.
You did nail it.
I'm the best.
You're pretty good.
Yeah, sometimes. And appears to stem from Europe near the Black Sea. Our particular lead, Ochi,
It's
in
the
this
island
story.
of Carpathia,
There
wherever
you
that
go.
is.
Yeah.
That's where Dracula lives.
That's what
Really?
Dracula.
Dracula is in the Carpathian
Just
Mountains.
like the orangutan
Well,
Ochi.
he's probably run into the Ochi.
may have.
Maybe he created the
Maybe
Ochi.
I think the
Ochi.
Ochi, there might be some
Is
Ochi
older-
going through
older than
Dracula.
vampire- Yeah, maybe.
They got teeth like
maybe
Dracula.
the Ochi bit the guy and he became a vampire.
Now that you say that, now we've got, because with
Kinda
her
makes
you get
sense.
the little homage to Dracula with her teeth.
Yeah. It's
I tell
completely
you,
makes sense.
This just brought it to a whole nother level.
Exactly. Maybe Bryce is going to
See,
change his
gotta ask
rating.
the
rating.
vampire.
My rating has been consistent for this movie the whole way.
All right.
I only have one thing ran through my mind when this ended.
Okay, there you go.
And it's over?
Our particular lead Ochi in this story gets separated from its family in a terrible shootout with a gang, and by gang I mean Willem Dafoe and a bunch of young men who are training to defeat this evil animal who have destroyed his village
What, the little
for
gizmo thing?
years. Yep. His family were evil vampiric type Ochis.
So like the gremlin.
See, I said that to Bryce, and he said, no, it's not like a gremlin, because they don't change.
Well,
They're
there's a
just who
Mogwai
they
and
are
there's the
all the
gremlin.
time. Yeah.
Gremlin's the evil one.
I got that, but
Yeah,
Bryce
he didn't.
disagreed.
No,
connection.
see, they're not like. Anyways, go ahead.
But-
Your ridiculous theory is ridiculous.
Was he a giant gremlin?
No, there's actually no gremlins.
There's no gremlins.
It is.
Ochis are Ochis.
Let me
man.
repeat
An
it.
Ochi is an Ochi is an Ochi.
It's Gizmo, Grogu, and an orangutan.
well,
mixed
it
together.
looks like Gizmo, Grogu, and an
Do they all look
orangutan.
like that, or is he just a baby?
Oh, the little Ochi's just a baby.
Just a
Yeah,
baby.
what are the
He's
big
just, he's
ones?
just a little baby.
What do the big ones look
They
like?
kind of look like that
They
too.
kind of look
A bigger version of
but,
a-
but they
of
have
baby
small,
Ochi.
but they have smaller ears.
Exactly.
You're not
apparently your ears shrink when you become an
No,
adult.
you just grow into your ears.
Oh, you just grow
1,000
into
times I
your
saw this trailer. I never saw the adult one.
there you go.
ears. There you go.
So, but William Dafoe's daughter is not so on board and seems more connected to these critters and also the natural world in a way that Dafoe cannot understand. This film is a journey of our young heroine returning this baby Ochi to their family, and along the way, we are delivered some exceptional scenery that is picturesque and stunning to watch. The set design and cinematography is also freaking brilliant. In addition to taking our little Ochi home, she realizes she can speak Ochi, as does her estranged mom, sort of. And
Well, that's
we
convenient.
we get a family dynamic healing film that is an adventure worth taking. The music in this in the score and the songs are traditional feeling and also reminiscent of what music, in my opinion, it would feel like for this region and this fantasy tale. The story is heartwarming and I think really great story to share with your family. I was completely taken in by everything that was happening. It was totally Mondo for me. I've got a bit to unpack, but what was the one word you were thinking of, Bryce?
Well, I'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, The Legend of Ochi. Legend of Ochi, the thing that I'll touch upon right now is that you'll go into this and you'll look at it and you're like, well, that doesn't really look like CGI. And you know why? Because it's not CGI. They use puppets.
Yep.
There is no CGI in this.
Yep.
And this is the type of thing that makes me love going to the movies. CGI animals take me
Look horrible.
out of it.
Except for Planet of the Apes.
And no matter, except for Planet of the Apes, where I'm still convinced it was just a guy in a
real ape?
monkey suit.
Oh, okay.
But whatever.
A really good monkey.
Really
suit.
good, a really good monkey suit. Not like they upgraded it from those 70s monkey suits.
Not like the Charlton Heston ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so much better than the Charlton Heston monkey suits. But yeah, I lost my train of thought.
You like puppets.
It was because you like
honestly,
puppets.
the puppetry in this was amazing.
It's so good.
And every now and then you'd see something where they'd look a little bit clunky all of a sudden in one, but it didn't take it away from anything because you were so engrossed in this. And the fact that you're not looking at some combination
Horrible.
of a drawing, basically a computer drawing with live action, which just don't meld together.
You mean like the How to Train Your Dragon?
This felt organic.
Yeah.
This felt like these two are in the same world. Everything felt organic in this. As Jim mentioned, the cinematography is absolutely gorgeous.
It's so breathtaking.
There's this palette to this movie that's dark but not too dark, and it is such an uplifting movie. By the end of this movie, you care about the mom, you care about the dad, you care about
all the kids.
You care about the Ochi. Like, there is nobody in this film that you didn't have some sort of connection to. And that's why this movie is so Mondo. This is what family films need to be. I don't need to see any more. Number one, I don't need to see any more stupid computer graphics when we don't need them. It doesn't feel organic ever. It just feels phony. And this did not feel phony at any point. It just was, it was an amazing thing to watch. I can't believe how much I loved this movie.
Yeah.
And I was choked up at the end.
Yeah.
Like I was ready.
As was I.
I was so close to shedding some tears. And then I swallowed like super hard, choked them back, and got on with my life.
And
but
did you know
this was an amazing film.
Did you know it was
this
Helena
is a family movie I've been
Zengel.
waiting for.
Yeah. Did you know it was Helena Zengel?
Yes, I
From
did.
System
Yeah,
Crasher?
Yes.
My favorite little actress.
Yeah, and how old is she now? I don't even know.
She was born in 2008.
Oh, really? So she's 17 now. She probably was 15, 16 when she was doing this.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, no, she's still she nails it every time. Even when she was in that crap movie with the remake with
Tom Hanks?
No, with Jeff Daniels.
Oh.
The Western.
Oh, yeah.
She was still great in it. The movie just sucked.
And Finn Wolfhard as well in this. He was
Wolfhard.
Wolfhard.
Yeah. He is
the Ghostbuster dude.
Yeah,
I know him as the
dude from Stranger Things.
I've never seen it.
Yeah. But
he's the best he's ever been.
It is, but it's honestly you expected his role to be bigger, And it shouldn't have been. Don't get me wrong, it shouldn't have been. But you almost expect someone else to be in that role because he really doesn't have a lot in it.
His
but
arc is good, though.
But yeah, no, everything he does in it, and his arc is good. Like from the first, and everything makes sense. But yeah, no, just every character in this, as I say, you don't necessarily care about them at the beginning, but by the end, you care about them all. Mm-hmm. You care about them all. Good and bad, you kind of see where they're all coming from.
Yeah, you understand, like,
and we're all in this together.
Yeah,
and they all see that they're all in this together, and we're all in it together with the Ochi too.
Why is he quoting High School Musical?
I don't know. He just does that sometimes.
I love the Legend of
all
Ochi.
warm and fuzzy.
He likes
apparently.
doing things like that.
I'm gonna tell you, Legend of Ochi could very well make my best films of the year. Like, I enjoyed this that much.
Okay, can we talk about the grocery store scene?
Oh, it's so good.
They go to the grocery store because she basically escapes. The whole premise, right, is that her dad, you don't know what happened to the mom, but he wants to kill the Ochi because he feels the Ochi was what drove his wife away. Mm-hmm. And not just that, but the Ochi's been killing their livestock and stealing their stuff and doing all these things, which you don't even know if it is the Ochi that's doing it. It just could be. I don't think it was either, because these guys pretty much stick to the tops of mountains. So I don't think that, but his heart is so broken. And so he takes these kids in a scene that's almost reminiscent of Wes Anderson. Mm-hmm. When you see Willem Dafoe with these kids all getting into the car to go up and shoot, I'm like, did our director was he a big fan of Wes Anderson? Not that the whole movie has Wes Anderson feel, but just little tiny snippets of it. Yeah. And probably it's because it's Willem Dafoe, right? And how Willem Dafoe plays that character just so well.
The other thing I really liked about this movie is it made it kind of led you one way, and then it like didn't do the obvious thing. Mm-hmm. Like a certain person gets bit by the Ochi and they're infected, and you think that that's why they have a certain ability. Yeah. Turns out that is not why at all. Yeah. Like, that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was so well
absolutely brilliant. And in a lesser, lazier writing of a movie, the communication between them wouldn't have been the kid speaking Ochi. It probably would have been the Ochi like murmuring like little phrases of English, like
Gizmo speaking English.
Yeah, and that's lazy. This one, that's not what
they wrote it in Ochi,
and the everything ties together so beautifully. I can't. We got to stop talking about this movie because I'm just
gonna start crying again. I love it.
Mondo.
Wow, this is almost frightening me.
It's frightening me how wrong I've been.
Well, no, you've been right on some things.
No, that's the only one.
But this is where we might fall off the rails. We've agreed for everything. I think we may differ on this one.
All right.
Okay, on swift horses. So many swift horses running everywhere in this. We got a gay brother to Jesse Plemons Jr., as I like to call him, or he's also known as Will Poulter, who I think is going to be in every single movie that's made this year. Yeah, it's the Will Poulter year.
You're the Poulter.
Who's swiftly running, and his wife, who's either bi or a lesbian, running from where she's at also. And then poor Lee, a.k.a. Jesse Jr., a.k.a. Will, who's been running from his situation in hopes of finding a life where he's supposed to be supported unconditionally. This is a very slow-moving character story with lots that's happening and lots of secrets, and takes place in the 1950s/60s post-Korean War era. All the characters are very well defined, which made for an interesting dynamic in the film. It also was very soap opera feeling, at least to me. Also a little too many episodes in this soap opera because it was a bit of too long. It was a little draggy and drawn out by the time I got to the end of this, coming in just under 2 hours, but it felt more like 3. I did like the characters, but also found it did have some bait and switch in it, and shows a relationship between the gay brother and the bi wife that is unspoken, and yet we are supposed to believe
is there without it properly being developed. At least I didn't feel it was properly developed. They meet one night and all of a sudden they have this connection. You don't see them connected in any other way, which for me meant I needed either another episode of this soap opera that showed this part of the story better, or changed it so that it was not as predominant. Like, it was a big part of how this story played out. And to me, I didn't feel that they had built that to have it go in that direction. I also, all the acting I thought was really well done. I didn't love the soap opera-ness to it though. So for that reason, it's a meh. It's a kind of a good story, but it just,
It's romance.
This is a movie that if it wasn't the way it was shot, it's a very 50s, 60s movie. Like, if this was made in the 50s or 60s, of course, with the subjects that are touched upon in this and the way that they're touched upon, there's no way it would ever get made in the 50s or 60s. But I felt like if they did make this movie in the 50s or 60s, this is how it would look.
Yeah.
This would how it would play. This would be the pace.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of movies from that era that are just like this, but with different subject matter.
yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
Not with the whole queer.
There's exactly. But this was so well acted.
Yeah.
And it was a movie that I just kind of sat back and it just sort of washed over me. I never got bored at all. I was like, I understand why you could, but I was just so mesmerized by just every scene and the way that it all just unfolded and how it kind of meshed into the next scene. And I just really enjoyed this. Did I enjoy it enough to give it like a Mondo? No.
Okay.
No.
So it was a high meh for
it was
you.
a very high meh. Because I just hope that I see more Diego Calva. I mean, he was brilliant in that.
Wasn't he the dude from Babylon?
The dude from Babylon.
Dude from Babylon.
Yeah, he is so good.
Oh, yeah.
And he's good. He's so good in this.
They're all
too.
so good in this. Like, the acting is a
just
tour
for
de
the
force.
acting. It's so, and it's a beautiful film to look at.
Yeah.
Like it's gorgeous.
But do you know what I'm saying about the connection with the brother and her? Like,
There's a couple of things that kind of bugged me that just kind of, and that's one of them. And that's why it didn't make it to a Mondo, because there were just a couple of things that just sort of nagged at me.
It nagged at me for the whole movie too. So I
was just kind of letting it all wash over me, and then every now and then I get a little bit annoyed.
Yeah.
But then I get the next scene, and I see the brilliant acting going back and forth.
Yeah.
Such good dialogue. I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I can honestly say that I've never seen a movie like this on this subject matter. I've seen movies like this, but not done like this with this subject matter.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's in that way it's original, and I enjoyed it a lot.
It's a good queer representation film for the era that it's showing. So
absolutely,
I love that people are trying to do this. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We need more queer films anyway. So
it's meh.
Okay, so so we've been bang on everything this week. What's going on with us?
Have we agreed on everything?
We have. It's annoying me, actually.
That's stupid. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. Apparently, exactly. What's wrong with you?
You're supposed to love Ben Affleck.
Exactly.
What's wrong with you?
Exactly. You're supposed to have.
There's one thing in this world I can guarantee. I can count on.
I do love Ben Affleck.
How much he loves Ben Affleck.
But just because I love Ben Affleck, if Ben Affleck makes a bad movie, I'm still going to give it a rage. He's still the finest actor of mine or anybody else's generation.
A lot of bad movies.
Remember he made that stupid basketball movie, which was horrible?
Yeah, no, it was good.
It was horrible.
The Last Duel.
No, the last Duel also horrible.
By the way, The Last Duel was a super mondo. I love that movie.
It was probably.
I could watch that movie and over again.
I think it made one of the worst films I saw that year.
Well, that would be ridiculous. That's a ridiculous statement if I ever heard one.
All right, get your Cronenberg
shroud on.
It's the shroud.
Okay, so 22 films of sheer perfection. That is what my life was up until now.
Oh, goody.
And how we have had the undoubted David Cronenberg at 22 films. The greatest director of all time, well, at least in my mind, the person that has taken us places to where we either aren't aware or confused or shocked by where we're going, where we've been, and what's happening on the screen in front of us. But in his 23rd film, as he's in his sunset years, a fear has been introduced to me that it kind of started as some of the other directors of late that have happened from the greats of yesteryear, such as, can I remind us about Clint Eastwood? Or perhaps Francis Ford Coppola's last
Scorsese.
Yeah, or Scorsese. Maybe he's reached a point that I can't trust his content anymore.
Maybe.
In this film, we start down a path that is deep and complex and feels like another great head trip by the master filmmaker. But as we get halfway through this, it starts to be more transparent and, unfortunately and surprisingly, simple, and at times a quite droning experience. I mean, we get some great body horror and a great initial concept, but by the time we reach the end of this, I kind of didn't care what happens to any of the characters. And one of the hardest parts for me was that I could not connect to Vincent Cassel in this at all. I think he was horrible in this. Just horrible. These words in the history of my life have never been spoken. David Cronenberg has made a film that is not Mondo and is barely a meh. David, please spend some time with your son and get your mojo back, because as of now, he could be added to our undoubted list in time for you to be removed.
That puts the pressure on there for David Cronenberg.
It does, because if you give him a rage...
Well, no.
He's old.
If you give him a rage...
Number one, if I give him a rage, he's gone.
Yeah.
Number two, his next movie, if it's
better
meh
not
again,
be a Mondo. I know.
if it's meh again,
I know.
just because of what you just said,
Yep.
he gone.
He
So
gone.
the pressure's on for Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Here's this. I don't even know what to make of this film, really. You've got an expectation going into a David Cronenberg movie, and there's no question that this did not live up to my expectations. This was like Cronenberg light. It was very deliberate. It didn't tell a whole lot of story to warrant a 2-hour runtime.
No.
It droned on at points where I'm like, why is this scene still going on? And there were some scenes where I'm like, did we really need that? It just lengthened the movie, and it's an interesting concept. It really is. And it's a movie that feels like it should have been better. And the scary thing is this apparently, I read somewhere that this movie was actually originally going to be a Netflix series. So this was probably going to be like 6 or 8 hours long. And I'm thinking, how in the hell would you make this that when you condensed it to 2, and it was a fatiguing 2 hours. By the end of this, you're just like, okay, not the worst thing I've ever watched. Sure doesn't live up to a Cronenberg movie.
No.
I wasn't quite as bothered by Castle as you were.
He was horrible in this.
But I mean, I do think that Diane Kruger was very good in it.
Yeah.
Guy Pearce was great. Was great in
Possibly
it.
the best Guy Pearce has ever been.
So I mean, there were some really good performances.
Elizabeth Saunders in this, she was great.
And there were enough really good scenes in this. I just wish that all the scenes in between those good scenes could have either been better or just not been there at all. So this isn't a rage. It is a meh, but Cronenberg, buddy,
pick your game up. Go spend some time with your son.
Yeah, I was
right.
I mean,
go watch his whole catalog.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is just a disappointing meh. Like you know.
Yeah. And it's
I don't know that I've never been disappointed by a Cronenberg movie. Like I've never come out of it going, oh man, I wish that should have been bad. Like it's like every time I get out of one, I'm like, That was great. It was either really good or great for me. I know it's great for you every time, but he had a couple of mehs for me. But this was the lowest meh of anything that he's done.
Yeah.
And while it's still a good movie, it's sure not a Cronenberg.
I think it's because
not up to
we have
Cronenberg.
this expectation.
And that's part of it. There's no question. That's
right?
part
Is
of
that he stretches
no matter
boundaries in his films,
yeah.
and this one didn't stretch very many. And I didn't.
And it didn't feel as original as like, even though it's an original concept, it still didn't feel original. Like it's a really original concept that didn't feel original. Mm-hmm. But it was meh.
And so that's horrible. We agree on everything.
We agree on everything.
Okay, so,
we disagreed last week a lot.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so, but can I say this? There's a lot of nudity in this film, like a lot of nudity. And when I say nudity, I just mean female nudity. And I want to just put that out there. Okay, Cronenberg has never shied away from male nudity. He's put male nudes in his films before. If you're going to cast a male, make sure they're comfortable with nudity, because there's scenes in this that we should have seen full frontal male nudity. They conveniently didn't do it.
I didn't care.
No, okay, but this is what I want to say though, right? Is why did the woman have to be nude all the time and the guy isn't? Like I'm just saying that the story was put that where Castle would get out of bed after having sex with somebody, and then he's conveniently covering his wiener up. Like, nobody does that when you've just had sex with somebody. You want to shake your wiener around and slap her around with it. Like, yum, yum. There's none of this. There's none of this.
Yum,
There's no.
What is he talking about?
I'm gonna go crawl in the corner and hide my wiener from the camera. Like, fuck off, Cronenberg. Like, come on. You're better than this. Like, if Castle did not want to be nude in this film, first off, I think he should have been replaced by someone else anyway. Whereas Viggo Mortensen, he could have played this character way better. So, that's all I want to say.
Right.
Hashtag Wienergate, too.
More wiener. Yeah, more wiener all the time.
We want to still call him Cronebone.
All right, then. Oh, my.
Oh, my, indeed.
Let's change topics, shall we?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so on top of seeing 5 films, we also went to the back half of CUF, Calgary Underground Film Festival. So go check out calgaryundergroundfilm.org and take a look at the content that was produced there. Again, this year, I think by the time we got to the end of the festival, everybody in our film watching group was pretty
tired,
pretty drained. As we get older every year.
I got a festival cold, man. Wednesday night my throat was a little sore, and by Thursday I was like, I'm not feeling well. So I went through Thursday, Friday, Saturday of that festival suffering.
Yeah.
Which isn't conducive to watching movies.
No, it's
what
not.
You get for hanging around other people.
That's right. Well, that's what you get. We try and hide from everybody at the back of the cinema.
It happens. I honestly, I've never gotten sick at a festival before, but for some reason, somebody gave me something this year.
evil film goers. But I just have to give kudos to CUF this year. I just really can't say enough good that they made this an underground film festival.
This was
for the ages.
This was an underground film festival. This is back to like when the first year I went to CUF. This is the type of stuff they were doing.
Yeah,
and now it feels fresh again. You know?
Every single film we saw was swinging for as big a fence as they could swing.
Yeah.
And even if we didn't I don't think there was one film that we hated. I know Murray is different because he's not an underground film person.
No.
But I think for you and
as I recall, it was one you walked out on, so there must have been that.
Yeah, but I was tired, so that was I was done.
That as an excuse.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that as an excuse because I didn't want to hate it, and I had a feeling I might. So yeah. Anyway, to me, this just deserves huge applause. CUF, you guys did a great year programming. So for the back half, obviously we didn't see as many films in the back half, but surprisingly, I still had 4 Mondos that I gave out. Now, I did see some movies that Bryce didn't see.
Yeah.
So Probably, he probably also would have given these Mondos, and he will eventually see them. I know.
I really want to see the two of your Mondos for sure, and I
Yep.
have a feeling that your other two Mondos might be Mondo for me too. Oh, maybe not one of them.
No, not one of them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why that is. So the first, again, not in any particular order.
Yep.
The Ugly Stepsister.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So not since 77 porn version of Cinderella told Pinocchio to lie, baby, lie, have I had as much fun in a Disney classic fairy tale. Except in this one, Cinderella was a total bitch, and our true victim, who is Elvira, is not such an ugly stepsister.
Yes.
And ultimately, she is the true victim in this story. I just think they took this story and just spun it on its head in a way that I never thought was possible. As I was taking the journey through this film, though, by the time it got to the end, there was moments where I was like, okay, this isn't going to hit to Mondo. But how this film ended, to me, it put all the icing on the cake. And I went, you know what? I'm going to remember this film forever.
Yeah, I can see that. The other thing that's unique about this film is I know for a fact from talking to people that there were some people that still sympathized with Cinderella, and there's some people that sympathize the other way. And I guess it depends on how you watch this movie. You might swing one way or the other, because to be honest, they're both awful at some points in this movie. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you're going to come to your own conclusion, and I don't think they really try to steer you either way. They're just like, hey, this is what
happened.
Sympathize with whoever you want.
But this is what I like so much about it. This is why I think it deserves the Mondo it's getting.
Yeah, I'm close, man. I'm close.
Okay, what can I say to push you over that edge? What about when she cut her feet off to fit into those slippers? It was pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, it's pretty freaking awesome. You know what?
I mean, if you've got that much dedication.
I almost feel like I need to watch this again when I'm not feeling horrible.
Maybe
because the amount that I enjoyed it and the fact that I felt like absolute death while watching it.
Yep.
It probably says that it might have been better than I even thought.
Oh, it's definitely better than you
I should
thought
probably watch it again at some point.
You should. For now, you should give it a Mondo, and then you can take it back.
I could take it back?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, why not? It's a Mondo.
Yes, awesome. All right, my second one is 1978.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Argentinian nationalists decide to torture what they think are communists, but I think they end up getting demon zombie dogs, maybe Satan, maybe Satan's baby. Nothing in this is explained at all, but the film is bonkers. And I say bonkers, I mean, it's like there's almost like it's two movies. The first half of the movie is a gangster kind of film, and it takes place during the World Cup, where it's in Argentina. Mm-hmm. And the second half just flips a switch, and this film just became so insane and so amazing and so Mondo. I freaking loved this movie. The fact that we have a giant demon get birthed from somebody's orifice, I have no clue where it came from. Like, normally things like this would bother me, but because of how this movie was, nothing was like, oh yeah, I'm not buying buying
Wait
anything.
Wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
Where did he come from?
It's like who cares? This is awesome.
This is so awesome. And this has like the best ending of any Argentinian film I've seen in a long time. The ending in this is so freaking brilliant.
I will seek this out, my friend.
You're gonna go, oh my god, the light bulb just came on. And that doesn't happen normally with me. Normally it's like, oh yeah, I've already got this light bulb. And you know, you can have suspicions, but when the light bulb comes on at the end of this movie, you're just like, that was a very satisfying light bulb.
All right.
And when I say light bulb, I mean a red stoplight.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if anyone gets a chance to see 1978, see it.
All
right, Broken Bird, which
that was what I was supposed to go to,
yes.
but I was feeling so awful I had to come home
also
and sleep for
until
12
I had
hours.
to work.
Oh. So this one's a great gothic horror flick. It's dark, it's creepy. It immerses you into these characters. Our lead is one of the creepiest and evilest villains / victims since the tall, thin man in Phantasm yes, I thought she was that evil and creepy. I love the pacing, and it's another Raven Banner banger.
All right.
That is also Mondo. Cool. And my last Mondo is called Good Boy. And it's a Mondo. We get dog nightmares, dog daymares, dog jump scares, and the complete knowledge of our dogs see the world as we, their owners, are dying of cancer. So if you ever imagine, pretend you were dying of cancer, or maybe you knew someone that was dying of cancer and they had a dog, this is what your dog thinks and feels, and that's what the movie is.
It's totally from the dog's point of view.
Totally from the dog. I mean, it's not like in a violent nature. Well, maybe in that respect, but
it's visceral in how the dog feels.
Yeah.
What's going on? It's not just what he sees; it's what he's feeling.
Like when the dog has a jump scare.
It's like it's his nightmares while this is going on. It's what he associates in his mind as this stuff is going on around him, and it's amazing. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's I'm glad you did, because it really is and it's funny because it's another one of those ones that as I'm watching, I'm like, this is so original and so creative.
Wasn't it though?
And then as I was watching it, I was kind of going, it's okay. But then as the movie progresses, it just gets consistently better.
Yeah. And you're in this dog's shoes, and you're like, you're feeling bad for this dog. It's like this poor guy. He's going through so much.
And it's funny when I
he's
posted.
Such a good boy.
He's such a good boy. And it's funny because as I posted it on socials, I had 5 or 6 people reach out to me saying, "Please tell me that the dog lives in this movie." The dog lives.
Yes. Everybody, don't worry.
But
the dog
definitely
lives.
See this movie, however you can get it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And the way he wants to just stay with his owner right till the end. He does not want to leave his owner. No matter if his owner's,
dying of cancer.
He's going with his owner wherever his owner's going. Yep. It's so good. It's just a fantastic
He's
movie.
A good boy.
He's such a good boy. Mondo.
Okay, awesome. The Mur. Did you have anything that you saw maybe that we haven't told our listeners about?
I worked night shifts pretty much all week. I didn't have time to do anything else. But as a previewer, I did see a few good ones. The one I missed on Monday with you guys, which I saw, was that Pater Noster thing.
Yep.
Pater Noster so
was
good.
Easily my favorite movie that I watched. In all the stuff I watched for Cuff, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
It was just a straight up slasher movie. There was, blood everywhere, and it was like a hippie commune.
It was a blood orgy movie.
Yes,
it was blood orgy.
It was very gooey.
And there was a lot. And who was it? There was somebody famous in it for like a 2-minute scene. I can't remember who the hell it was. It wasn't like Dee Snider, but someone like that.
Oh, right. It was
some famous rock person was on.
Yeah.
He was like the DJ, right?
Yeah.
I forget who it was. Anyway, that was a great role.
Cameo. Timmy Capello.
The guy from Lost Boys.
The guy that saxophone.
The shirtless saxophone dude from Lost Boys. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Yes. And obviously I love Cheech and Chong. The Wing Bowl thing, I didn't mind. I wouldn't have given it a Mondo, but I enjoyed
watching
the
Wings.
first 2/3 of it.
Yeah.
It made me hate Eagles fans even more than I do already.
It's actually funny. The one thing that the director of Wing Bowl said is that he was curious to see how, because everybody that watched the film in Philly said, there's no way this movie's going to play anywhere else. Nobody's going to care about it.
Everybody hates Philly.
Unless you're from Philly, just because it's a Philly story that nobody else is going to relate to. And he's shown it in like a couple different places, and they both absolutely embrace it. The crowd in this movie really
I can appreciate the story, just I didn't like their hometown team. But the fact that they just had...
that's a reason not to...
They had these 400-pound guys every year would come back and just suck down chicken wings, and... Surprised nobody died.
Oh, they also had some rather petite women that
towards the end
that handed them their asses.
And then they had the hot dog guy who won the Nathan's hot dog contest every single year.
Yeah.
Until he turned vegan and went all corporate, apparently.
Good for him.
Yeah, but he was in it one year
Let's
too.
Celebrate him.
And they had a bunch of, wannabe wrestlers in it.
All right.
Guys I don't like.
You're doing a good sales job on
it. No, it was a decent watch. I mean, if you're a sports fan, it's a good watch, but...
We just talked a lot about it for a movie that wasn't Mondo for you.
Speaking of sports, there's the other one, which you guys would never mention because I don't know if you even saw it, but It was called EFIS, which I don't even know what that means. But it's a bunch of old guys who are basically they're going to their ballpark to play one last game before it gets torn
Sounds
down.
like a Murray movie.
And it's like an all-night. It's like a 12-hour marathon, and old guys with bad knees and bad hips, and they're like drinking on the field. And at one point, there's no umpires, and then they have to use the headlights from their vehicles to shine on the. It was good. I liked that one. I wouldn't give Mondo either, but. So that's basically
he didn't get enough content.
Dude, I saw 7 movies at Cuff and I enjoyed one of them. So I had to go on about something.
But you didn't.
But I did.
We're already at the 1 hour point of this podcast where you really didn't have to go on about any of it.
What's your favorite film then you saw?
Paternoster.
Paternoster?
That I saw
At the
overall
festival.
at Cuff or in theaters?
Sure.
all
If
of
it
Cuff.
played at Cuff, what was your
I
favorite?
think Cheech and Chong and Peter Noster
Cheech and Chong, right.
is a tie.
There
I like
you go.
them both
All
for
right.
different reasons.
Good.
Yep.
All right, Bryce, what have you got? What's your favorite?
We already just covered it with you. Let's move on.
Which one was what?
It was
Did we talk about what our
Good
favorite
Boy and my favorite for the festival.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Wake Up.
It's okay. It's a tie between Ebony and Ivory and Good Boy because I can't. They're totally different movies. I can't.
they are.
I can't make because I am so amazed by Good Boy how it really got me, and Ebony and Ivory is just the funniest thing you'll ever watch in your life. If you like that type of humor,
I disagree.
Yeah.
with the caveat that watch The Greasy Strangler.
Yeah.
First. You have to see that
If
first.
you think that's funny, you'll also enjoy
Yes.
this.
You have to
you
enjoy
will.
that kind of humor,
Yeah,
which
you
I
will.
did not.
I think that's true. So, okay, if everyone's doing a tie here, then mine's going to be Ebony and Ivory and You Are the Universe.
And that would be my honorable mention because those are those three for me. Good Boy, Ebony and Ivory, You Are the Universe were actually standouts above everything else. Don't get me wrong. I had some other Mondos, just like Paternoster was amazing.
Yeah.
But those three are just amazing films.
Yeah. For me, I think, I think I'd be leaning more towards You Are the Universe because I think anybody who sees that movie, I think it's a movie that everybody could see. And the backstory to it just makes it that much better.
Yeah.
Because it's, we talked about it last episode, but the director started the film before the Ukraine war and ended it during the Ukraine war. So yeah, it's worth supporting.
It's an amazing feat, and it's also an amazing film.
Yep, absolutely. Now, it's a reminder to everybody, I will not be here next week, so Bryce and Murr are going to have to handle everything.
I guess so.
All by their lonesomes. And Rager Dare and the list will come back in a couple weeks, so we'll get our Casey boy back as well. So thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage family you can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, our god of rage and the nerdy photographer, for the voice of Rage All Day. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We always want to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage. But no matter what you do, please, 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 pretty please, 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 make us a rage. That's it for this week at Cuff and Others. Yeah! Rage on.
Rage on.
on.